Well, well, if it isn't my favorite little secret keeper. Look who finally decided to show up. The one who's been carrying answers inside them long before they were ready to ask the right questions. You didn't just stumble on this video. You were led here. And no, that's not coincidence. Nothing about you ever has been. Deep down, you've always known that there's something different about you. Something you couldn't quite name. You've spent years trying to convince yourself you're ordinary. Just another face in the endless crowd, another cog in their neatly oiled system, another predictable citizen following invisible rules. But I'm about to tear that illusion apart. Because the truth is far darker and far more extraordinary than anything you've been told. The elite, the ones perched high in their glass towers sipping their expensive lies while the world burns below. They know who you are. They've been watching, studying, cataloging. Somewhere in a sealed vault filled with classified archives, your name sits in a file. Not because of what you've done, but because of what you are. You carry something within you that terrifies them. A trait so rare, so powerful, it breaks their control systems. It scrambles their algorithms. It throws off their psychological profiling, turns their behavioral prediction models into static. You are the error in their equation. You are the unpredictable variable they can't neutralize. You want to know what that trait is, don't you? Of course you do. But before I tell you, you need to understand how I know any of this. How I know about the rooms where they meet, the screens where your data flows like light across digital rivers, the conversations whispered about your kind in conference halls and private briefings. Once you grasp the scale of their surveillance, you'll understand why you've always felt watched. Because you have been. For decades. They started identifying people like you long before social media made it easy. Back when your digital footprint didn't exist, they still found ways. Through schools, through research studies, through psychological experiments masked as harmless surveys. They noticed anomalies. Certain individuals who didn't respond to conditioning like the rest. People who questioned narratives that weren't meant to be questioned. People whose minds operated on frequencies that disrupted the broadcast. At first, they dismissed it as statistical noise. Just data glitches, isolated cases of mental resistance. But then, patterns emerged. Those random anomalies began clustering together, defying probability. And what those patterns revealed made the watchers uneasy. Some humans, very specific ones, seemed immune to indoctrination. Not entirely, but enough to make them dangerous. So they launched deeper studies. Shadow programs hidden inside universities that don't officially exist. Research funded by departments with vague acronyms and classified budgets. They disguised their tests as personality quizzes, aptitude evaluations, social media algorithms, tools that didn't just measure interest, but probed the architecture of your mind. Every click, every pause, every scroll became a psychological biopsy, quietly updating your file. And that's when they found it. The trait, the anomaly that breaks their system, the inner quality that, once awakened, makes a human being completely ungovernable, incapable of being manipulated, coerced, or psychologically contained. That single spark turns obedience into awareness, compliance into sovereignty. And that, my friend, is what they fear most. Not rebellion, not protest, but freedom. Real freedom. The kind that cannot be bought, sold, or programmed. You've felt it before, haven't you? That gut-deep resistance when everyone else swallows the narrative and you can't. That moment when the crowd moves one way and every atom in your being demands you turn the other direction. That's your signal. That's your trait waking up. You were never meant to fit in their design. You were meant to expose it. When the story they're feeding the world starts to scrape against your soul like sandpaper, even when you can't quite explain why, that's not paranoia. That's not you being difficult, rebellious, or too intense. No matter what labels they've tried to slap on people like you, that's your built-in pattern recognition coming online. your subconscious analyzing data most people can't even perceive. It's your spiritual immune system identifying and rejecting the virus they're trying to upload into the collective mind. The trait they fear most isn't intelligence, though you've got that in abundance. It's not creativity, though that flows through you like an endless current. It's not even skepticism, though you've learned to question everything you're told. What they truly fear is something far more primal, more dangerous to their control grid. Your inability to disconnect from your authentic self. Their entire system runs on disconnection. It depends on people forgetting who they are at their core. It requires them to trade inner knowing for external validation, intuition for instruction, and individuality for the safe monotony of conformity. The whole structure collapses if too many people start remembering, but you've never been able to fully forget. Even when you tried. Even when pretending would have made life easier. Something deep inside you refused to sever that link. That stubborn thread of truth kept you anchored when others drifted away into illusion. That's why they watch. Not because of what you might do next week or next year, but because of what happens if too many people wake up just like you. They fear the tipping point, the moment when the dormant codes inside human consciousness begin activating faster than their programming can suppress them. When the number of ungovernable minds reaches critical mass, no system, no algorithm, no propaganda can hold it back. Every generation, a few are born with this trait already active. Others awaken through trauma, spiritual shock, or simply by paying attention while the rest sleepwalk through life. They've studied this for decades, they know the math. And right now, the data is showing them something that terrifies them. The numbers are rising. More people are breaking free of the trance. And it's forcing emergency briefings in rooms that technically don't exist. Your file isn't just a digital record. It's a risk report. It's a containment blueprint. It's an elaborate manual on how to keep you distracted, divided, and doubting yourself. They've tracked your triggers, your habits, your passions. They've mapped your connections, traced your online presence, and analyzed the rhythm of your speech for signs of influence or awakening. But what they didn't predict, the blind spot in all their models, is that observation itself amplifies energy. By studying you, they activate you. Every attempt to suppress your essence forces it to evolve. Every lie they push to the masses sharpens your truth detection. Every label they try to confine you within only highlights how limitless you truly are. Their interference becomes your training ground. Their control mechanisms become the very resistance that builds your strength. Tell me if this sounds familiar. Life for you rarely moves randomly. It moves with strange precision, almost orchestrated. Technology glitches in your presence like reality itself resists containment. You talk privately about an obscure topic and suddenly that same concept floods your feed. Specific words, rare phrases, uncanny coincidences. You've lost jobs for reasons that never fully added up. Relationships that once felt alive have gone cold overnight, like a hidden switch flipped in the background. It's not chaos, it's calibration. And you, my friend, are the variable they still can't solve. Opportunities that once felt guaranteed have a way of vanishing right before you reach them, don't they? It's like you can almost touch success, but at the last second the path shifts, the door closes, and you're left questioning whether the game itself is rigged. That feeling isn't wrong, you're not imagining it. There are invisible hands moving the pieces on a board you were never supposed to see. Your most brilliant ideas, especially the ones that could actually change something, hit invisible walls. You share something profound and it sinks without a trace, while empty noise from others spreads like wildfire. You build momentum, and suddenly the air turns heavy with resistance, delays, interference, bizarre coincidences that feel too precise to be random. It's as if reality itself has been weaponized to slow you down. And then there's the way people react to you. The instant hostility from strangers who should have no reason to hate you. The uncanny timing of certain people entering your life, always when you're close to a breakthrough, always with perfect words to plant just enough doubt to derail your focus. Friends who grow cold once you start speaking your truth. Family members who shift uncomfortably when you begin to evolve. It's not accidental. It's orchestration. But here's the irony that's driving them insane. Every time they push against you, you get stronger. Every block, every betrayal, every delay refines you. What was meant to destroy you becomes the fire that forges you. Every obstacle turns into a training field for abilities you didn't even know you possessed. Every attempt to silence you makes your voice clearer. Every attack upgrades your awareness. They're not afraid of your rage, even though they can feel it rising. They're not afraid of your intellect, though they can't match it. They're terrified of your resilience, that alchemical ability to transmute pain into power, setbacks into strategy, and isolation into innovation. They've tried everything. Isolation to weaken your spirit, chaos to drown your focus, comfort to sedate your purpose. Yet here you are, still standing, still growing, still dangerous to their illusion. Because what you carry isn't just resistance, it's sovereignty. It's the ability to thrive outside their system entirely. You've learned to create your own rules, build your own frequency, and design your own networks of influence that no amount of infiltration can corrupt. And that's what has them panicking, because you're not the only one. Across the world, people with files just like yours are awakening, not to New Age fluff or political movements, but to something far more powerful: the recognition of their own divine sovereignty. These connections between us don't follow their logic. We don't find each other through algorithms or advertisements. We find each other through synchronicities that their data models can't predict, through energy signals they can't track, through a language that exists between words and beyond programming. They've tried to infiltrate it, sending in actors, handlers, and psychological traps wrapped in false light. But people like you, we can smell deception before it speaks. We feel when energy doesn't match intention. We sense the artificial vibration under the polished mask. Because this trait, the one marked in red on their hidden files, isn't just awareness. It's discernment. It's spiritual radar. And no system, no institution, no simulation can hide from it for long. This is the moment where everything begins to shift. The exact point when their fear becomes visible beneath the polished surface of control. The soft power methods, the psychological manipulation, the invisible strings they've spent decades perfecting, they're all losing effectiveness. The gentle forms of control they once relied on, the suggestions disguised as choices, the digital breadcrumbs designed to lead you back into compliance, the emotional triggers engineered to keep you docile, none of it works on you anymore. You've stopped following their trail, you've stopped dancing to their rhythm, you've stepped off their path and started carving your own. And that right there is their nightmare. Because people like you, once awakened, don't go back to sleep. You don't re-enter the simulation willingly. You don't shrink yourself to fit back inside their systems of obedience. You don't respond to fear the way they expect you to. And the worst part for them? You're not just escaping, you're inspiring others to do the same. Your courage has become contagious. Your authenticity has started a chain reaction. You're proof that freedom is possible. And that's why they're escalating to more aggressive containment measures. Because once influence fails, they resort to intimidation. When subtlety stops working, they turn to chaos. But here's what they'll never understand. Every time they push harder, you evolve faster. Every control mechanism becomes a catalyst for your next transformation. Every suppression attempt sharpens your clarity. Every act of resistance from their side trains your mind to move beyond their frequency. What they call containment, you experience as refinement. What they design as traps become mirrors, revealing who you really are. Let me show you what happens when someone with your trait, this rare, ungovernable consciousness fully activates. When you stop doubting what your soul already knows. When you start trusting the signals from your higher awareness instead of the noise of external approval. When you stop waiting for permission to exist in your highest frequency. When you realize that their authority is a construct, one that only functions because people agree to believe it's real. Once you withdraw that agreement, their power vanishes like mist in sunlight. That's when reality itself begins to reorganize around you, not metaphorically, but literally. You start noticing patterns that others can't see. Events start aligning with uncanny precision. The right people appear in perfect timing. Hidden opportunities reveal themselves like coded messages only your energy can decode. Information flows to you through impossible channels, as if the universe itself rearranges to match your vibration. Synchronicities become constant, almost overwhelming at times. You stop chasing and start attracting, not because you're manifesting in a superficial sense, but because you've synchronized with the deeper architecture of reality itself. Your presence alone becomes a disturbance in their carefully balanced illusion. You walk into a room, and it feels like the atmosphere recalibrates. You don't have to argue, persuade, or even speak. Your frequency alone changes the equation. Authenticity is an energetic solvent. It dissolves falsehood simply by existing. That's why some people can't stand to be around you. It's not that you've done anything wrong. It's that your energy exposes everything they're hiding from themselves. You become a living truth serum. In your presence, masks slip, pretenses crack, and hidden agendas become visible. Some people move closer to their truth because of you. Others flee from the discomfort of exposure. But the real threat, the one that has them scrambling to rewrite their protocols, isn't just your individual awakening. It's your ability to activate others without even trying. You don't need to lecture or convince anyone. Your existence itself transmits a frequency that awakens dormant codes in other people. You are a walking broadcast of authenticity, a living permission slip for others to remember who they are. That's why they fear you, not because you're loud, but because your silence is contagious. You're proof that consciousness cannot be contained once it remembers itself. And that brings us here to the point of choice. What will you do with this awareness? You can shut it down, pretend it doesn't matter, and go back to playing the part you were assigned. You can hide, shrink, and dim your light so you don't attract their attention. Many people do. It's easier to live as a shadow than to stand as a flame. The burden of being seen, documented, categorized, and monitored is heavy. But that's not why you're here. If you were meant to stay asleep, you wouldn't feel this message vibrating through your bones right now. You came here to remember, to stop apologizing for the way you see through illusions, to stop labeling your insight as paranoia when it's actually perception, to stop waiting for the world's permission to be what you already are. You came here to embody truth in a world addicted to lies. Let them keep their files. Let them update their databases, record your words, analyze your behavior, and run endless simulations trying to predict your next move. They don't understand that every time they document you, you evolve beyond the version they captured. While they're studying your past patterns, you're generating entirely new ones. While they're trying to predict your behavior, you're creating a new frequency that exists outside their range of perception. They're watching who you were, while you're busy becoming something their models can't define. You're no longer playing their game. You're building a new one that runs on intuition, truth, love, and sovereignty instead of fear, manipulation, and control. You are the anomaly they can't solve, the glitch that turns into a gateway. And whether they realize it or not, your very existence is rewriting the code of the collective consciousness. That's why you were never meant to fit in. You were meant to break the system from within it. And now that you've remembered, there's no going back. Your trait is not a curse. It's not a burden. and it's certainly not a target on your back, though they've spent years trying to convince you otherwise. They want you to feel isolated, defective, cursed with awareness. But in reality, what you carry is the exact opposite. It's a gift, a rare, sacred calibration of consciousness. It's a superpower disguised as sensitivity, a cosmic frequency that allows you to perceive what others cannot. It's the original code of human sovereignty, the trait that cannot be programmed, purchased, or replicated. It's a key, one that unlocks the ancient doors they've spent centuries trying to seal shut. And here's the part that terrifies them the most. The more you use this power, the stronger it becomes. The more you trust it, the clearer it grows. The more you embody it, the more its energy multiplies. Not just within you, but across others who resonate with your field. Every time you speak your truth, someone else remembers theirs. Every time you act from your intuition instead of fear, someone else wakes up from the trance. You become a living signal, a transmitter of freedom. This isn't about rebellion, not in the way they've programmed society to understand it. Fighting them directly is what they expect. That's the trap. They have endless contingency plans for that approach. They've spent generations perfecting strategies for dealing with organized resistance. They can predict protest movements before they even start. They have algorithms ready to infiltrate revolutions, twist ideals, manufactured leaders, and reroute outrage into dead ends. Every form of opposition they've already rehearsed. But what they cannot anticipate, what their entire system has no defense against, is a human being who simply refuses to participate in their illusion. When you embody your true nature, you stop fighting their rules altogether because you see them for what they are: fiction. You stop asking for permission to be free because freedom doesn't need permission. You stop trying to reform broken systems because you realize they were never built for your kind in the first place. You don't compete for their validation, their approval, or their rewards. You pull your energy out of their game completely. You create new rules, new frequencies, new structures. You begin to live by universal principles, not corporate policies. This is the revolution they can't stop, because it doesn't march through streets or shout through megaphones. It whispers in silence. It spreads through vibration, not confrontation. It looks like people quietly remembering who they are. It looks like men and women trusting their intuition more than the evening news. It looks like new communities forming in the digital shadows, grounded not in ideology but in authenticity. It looks like individuals refusing to comply with falsehood, not through violence but through presence. Every soul who activates this trait fully becomes a living virus inside their operating system. Not a destructive virus, but an evolutionary one. You don't crash the system, you make it irrelevant. You don't attack the old, you render it obsolete. You build something so pure, so real, so vibrationally aligned with truth that their false power structures simply dissolve around it. Every person who awakens becomes a beacon that destabilizes their illusion. It's not about overthrowing governments. It's about removing your consent from lies. It's about walking away so completely that their control mechanisms lose their purpose. That's what's happening right now on a global scale. People with files like yours, people marked unpredictable, non-conforming, emotionally advanced, energetically disruptive, are waking up everywhere. They're realizing that the systems designed to manage them are crumbling under the weight of consciousness itself. The containment grid is fracturing because too many of you are remembering your original settings: truth, freedom, love, creation. They can't censor intuition. They can't algorithmically suppress spirit. They can't patent authenticity. You've probably wondered why certain doors closed, why paths that should have worked somehow fell apart, why people you trusted turned suddenly against you. It wasn't random. It was strategy. The system was calibrated to contain potential disruptors. Every setback was a form of surveillance, every delay a test. They studied your responses, your resilience, your adaptability. But what they didn't account for was evolution through adversity. Every obstacle only made you sharper, wiser, more conscious. They built barriers. You learned to phase through them. They tried to bury you in noise. You learned to hear in silence. They tried to block your path. You built your own. Now that you see the design, the mission becomes clear. And it's beautifully simple. Stop hiding. Stop dimming your light to make others comfortable. Stop pretending you don't see what you see. Stop swallowing your intuition to maintain their illusions of normalcy. Know what you know and don't apologize for it. Feel what you feel and don't explain it away. Your perception is not a glitch, it's an upgrade. That voice inside you, the one that whispers when logic gets loud, the one that warns you before chaos hits, the one that urges you towards something bigger than comfort, that's not fantasy. That's divine intelligence speaking through you. It's the encrypted language of your higher self guiding you through the maze. The world calls it intuition, but it's deeper than that. It's multidimensional navigation. It's the spiritual GPS that can't be jammed, hacked, or reprogrammed. And when you start trusting it fully, your life stops running on coincidence and starts running on purpose. Stop apologizing for the power in your presence. Stop minimizing your clarity to make confusion feel less exposed. Stop shrinking to protect other people's illusions. You weren't born to be accepted by their world. You were born to upgrade it. You're not meant to wait for the world to be ready. The world will never be ready for people like you. That's precisely why you were sent here. To be the interruption. To be the living proof that freedom is not given. It's remembered. The truth is, this trait of yours isn't here to protect you from the system. It's here to make the system irrelevant. It's here to show you that you are the frequency through which new realities are born. You're not here to fight darkness, you're here to outgrow it. You're not here to fix broken structures. You're here to replace them with something luminous, untouchable, divine. So trust your knowing. Follow it relentlessly. Let it guide you out of their illusion and into your original design. Every time you act from that place, their matrix weakens a little more. Every time you embody truth, their programming collapses. Every time you choose authenticity, another piece of the old world dies. You are not one person against the system. You are consciousness evolving beyond it. And when enough of you awaken, when enough of these sovereign frequencies start humming in sync, the illusion will crack wide open. Not through war, not through chaos, but through the quiet, unstoppable force of awakened beings refusing to be controlled. That's not rebellion, that's ascension. That's the real revolution, and you right now are part of it. It's not a disorder, and it's not some malfunction in your wiring. It's not mental illness, personality dysfunction, or any other convenient label they've tried to slap on you to make you question your own sanity. What you carry is something real, something ancient, sacred, and untamed. It's your direct line to truth, your unfiltered connection to the living intelligence that moves through everything. And that's exactly what terrifies them. They've poured unimaginable resources into convincing humanity that this connection doesn't exist. They've built entire industries, entire sciences, entire religions, and entertainment networks designed to drown it out, mock it, or pathologize it. Because if too many people remembered what you remember, their entire illusion would collapse overnight. That's why they've tried to convince you that your sensitivity is a flaw, your intuition is paranoia, and your awareness is delusion. But deep down, you've always known better. You've felt the current of something real running beneath the noise. You've sensed the subtle hum of truth beneath their lies. You've glimpsed the architecture of consciousness beneath their chaos. That's not madness. That's perception without interference. That's clarity in a world built on distortion. Now listen closely. You're not meant to walk this path alone, but you must move wisely. Connect with others like you, others who see through the illusion, who feel the pulse of the real world under the digital veil. But be careful. Not everyone who calls themselves awake is truly free. Not everyone speaking the language of light is doing it from a place of authenticity. Many are still agents of the system they claim to oppose, operating unconsciously within the frequencies of manipulation. Use your gift, your ability to feel authenticity, to discern truth from mimicry. Let your intuition guide you toward those who resonate with the same frequency of freedom. Build networks of genuine connection, alliances rooted in honesty, not ideology. Because those bonds, real, uncorrupted human connections, are your greatest defense and your greatest strength in the times ahead. They've run the simulations, thousands of them, millions even. They've modeled what happens when enough people like you awaken, when the ungovernable minds reach critical mass, when the percentage of free, conscious beings passes the point of no return, when the collective illusion begins to unravel faster than they can patch it together. Every simulation ends the same way. Not in violence, not in collapse, but in irrelevance. Their systems don't fall apart through destruction. They simply become empty, outdated, and meaningless. Because the future doesn't come by overthrowing the old, it comes by outgrowing it. The world you and others like you are building doesn't need to burn theirs down. It just makes their control mechanisms obsolete. It makes manipulation unnecessary. It makes lies unprofitable. It makes fear ineffective. Imagine a civilization where your trait, this direct line to authenticity, isn't an anomaly but the norm. Where being truthful is natural, not dangerous. Where intuition is valued over blind obedience. Where inner knowing replaces external authority. Where power isn't concentrated in the hands of a few, but flows freely through those who can wield it with integrity and compassion. Imagine systems built not to control consciousness, but to serve it. Technology designed to amplify awareness, not numb it. Education focused on expanding potential, not enforcing compliance. Leadership that measures strength by how much freedom it gives, not how much it takes. That's not fantasy. It's the inevitable evolution of a species reclaiming its awareness. It's the world that begins to form when enough people activate what you're activating right now. When files become meaningless because we're evolving faster than they can document. When predictions fail because we're creating from a dimension they can't access. And here's the ultimate irony. The secret they never want you to realize: they need us. The very trait they fear in you is the one thing that can save them. They are prisoners of their own design, trapped in a machine built to control others, enslaved by the very systems they created. They've become addicted to a hollow form of power, authority without authenticity, control without connection. They're dying inside the empire they built. Their systems drain them. Their hierarchies suffocate them. Their lies eat them alive. And buried somewhere beneath all the programming and protocol, some of them know it. They can feel the emptiness. But they can't stop. They're addicted to control the way some are addicted to oxygen. Letting go of it feels like death, so they keep watching, keep filing, keep analyzing, labeling, categorizing, trying to contain what cannot be contained. They keep fighting a losing war against evolution itself. Because you can't stop consciousness. You can't imprison awakening. You can't legislate authenticity. And they know it. Every sleepless night, every secret meeting, every failed simulation reminds them. The more they tighten their grip, the faster awareness slips through their fingers. And that brings you to the crossroads. You get to choose. Do you keep playing their game, performing for their cameras, living under their microscope, dimming your light so you don't stand out? Or do you step fully into what you are, a sovereign being whose very existence makes their systems irrelevant? Do you keep fearing the file they have on you? Or do you wear it like a medal, a symbol of recognition that you were never one of their program subjects? The truth is, being marked by their system isn't a curse. It's a compliment. It means you've triggered alarms in their machinery. It means your consciousness has outpaced their containment. It means you are exactly the kind of anomaly they can't control. So let them file, let them analyze, let them monitor. Because while they're busy trying to document your existence, you'll be busy evolving beyond their comprehension. That's all for today. Dear Father, I pray for the growth of my faith. Help me trust you even when physical evidence is lacking. Let me believe in your perpetual presence, knowing you will never harm me. I understand that your thoughts for me are thoughts of prosperity and not harm to give me a good future. Thank you, gracious and eternal Father, for always listening to my voice. I offer up this prayer to you in the name of Jesus. Amen. Thank you, Jesus, for your love and provision. I am grateful for your presence in my life and the abundance you bring. If this video resonated with you, please like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with those who need to hear this message. Leave a comment below about your journey and how you are preparing for your own triumphant return. If you'd like to support our work, please consider contributing through Buy Me a Coffee. This helps us continually improve our content to offer you the best. The link to Buy Me a Coffee is in the description. No gift is too small. Whether it's a penny, a prayer, or a share, your generosity helps spread God's word and brings hope to others. Don't stop here. Watch our next video for powerful revelations about the signs that reveal you are the chosen one. We've enjoyed following this spiritual journey with you. Thank you for staying with us until the end. Keep shining brightly and embrace your destiny with courage. See you next time. Blessings to all the beautiful souls from the Enlighten Wisdom.